to this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to following the entire story of One Piece from beginning to end as we focus on each volume. We keep the discussion spoiler-free for new fans of the series, so this is the perfect place to follow along, whether you're new to the series or just want to revisit the world of One Piece with us. This week, we will be covering the second part of Volume 68, Pirate Alliance, which covers chapters 674 through 678. My name is Joel. I'll be your host. Joining me today, we have Evan.
Hello there. Evan here.
And we have Cody.
What's up?
How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
Good. I'm still reeling from this revelation and the fact that Evan called it.
The identity of Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Batman couldn't figure it out.
Nice.
Yeah, also a little tangent. I don't know if you guys want me to put this on here, but we did just go to the Fan Fest for Universal Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to really do all the One Piece themed things, which is basically just meet the crew, which would have been nice. But we did get to have some of the food, which is pretty good.
We did walk past them, and the vibes were immaculate.
Yeah, we did see them, so they looked really cool.
Yeah.
We just had to admire them from a distance.
Yeah.
FanFest was a blast, though. Would recommend. That was a lot of fun.
But by the time this comes out, it's going to be over.
Yeah, have to wait till next year, but
yeah, maybe next year. But yeah, I just figured I mentioned that since it's One Piece related.
Yeah, and there were so many really cool One Piece cosplayers, and like Joel said, the food was amazing. It just felt like a good night to be a One Piece fan.
Yeah, I'm hoping maybe next year they try to do something a little bit more with the franchise. Like we couldn't find like any merch or anything for it, which was unfortunate. It might have just sold out, but I mean that's a good sign of like One Piece stuff is selling. So
yeah. I feel it. Pure conjecture. I just feel like it was like, oh, first year, let's start small. Because also they just had like a lot going on because there were so many things that weren't even One Piece. And I'm hoping that like you said, like this is just a signal to them. Like yeah, we're safe to go a little further into it. We're safe to ball out a little more.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Well, let's get into the recap for the last part of the volume where we left off. Law proposed an alliance with Luffy to take down one of the four emperors, which Luffy accepted. Before they could move forward, however, Luffy decided they will help the children Caesar kidnapped because his crew would not leave without helping. Caesar had his men unleash his pet slime, Smiley, which is the condensed form of the poison gas that wiped out the island 4 years ago. The slime began moving from the fire side of the island to the ice side, killing anything in its way. Sanji helped the samurai retrieve his missing torso, the final piece to complete the samurai's body. He introduced himself as Foxfire Kinemon from the land of Wano. He still needs to find his son, so Zoro, Sanji, and Brook decide to help him. Law put Luffy in charge of kidnapping Caesar in order to move forward with his plan, so Luffy decided to go to the facility with Robin and Frankie to find the master. Caesar made his appearance and managed to defeat Luffy, his crewmates, Smoker, and Tashigi, taking them in as prisoners. Law was betrayed by Monet, who didn't trust the warlord. Law was surprised to learn that Virgo arrived on the island in secret. Virgo defeated Law, and he was also taken in as a prisoner. It is revealed that Virgo is a vice admiral who has been working with the black market broker Joker, and is the one who has been covering up the child abductions for the Navy. Curious, Luffy asks who this Joker person is. I'll explain that Joker is the alias used by Don Quixote del Flamengo.
I always love that. I always love the walk. But anyway, that's yeah.
Yeah, he was doing it before the Scarlet Witch.
I didn't wait.
I think Scarlet Witch kind of does like in the movies.
I guess yeah. Hers is like dynamic. His is just like static and weird.
Well, because
like,
it's a picture.
You know.
I imagine he might move his fingers too.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, here.
Come on, use your imagination here, Cody. The pictures can move.
No, I don't want to. Doflamingo is exactly the way I imagine him, and nothing different ever.
He's a static image at all times.
I'm gonna reel it back.
Okay, so let's kick things off with a new cover story. Limited cover series number 20. A stream echoes through the Mermaid Inlet. Someone is terrorizing mermaids again at the Mermaid Inlet.
Oh boy.
How many times we gotta go through this?
Yeah.
Evan, any guesses?
I did take a guess. Because you can kind of see some floppy sleeves in the silhouette.
Hmm.
Good
Yeah,
catch.
off in the distance. Yeah, you can see who's doing the terrorizing while all the mermaids look like up on the little reef over here.
Yep. It should say a scream echoes through the Mermaid Inlet again, because this is not the first time.
Another
This, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
What a sleaze. What a sleazy guy.
Yeah, so we'll come back to that shortly.
Yeah.
For now, let's get into the first chapter for the episode. That'd be chapter 674, The Observers. Caesar shows up at the abandoned facility where Usopp and Nami are guarding the children. He tells them he is here to take them back to the facility. Desperate for the drug candy, the children break free, attacking Nami and Usopp, eager to leave with Caesar. They're helpless to stop Caesar as their attacks are ineffective, and he's able to control gases around him, cutting off the oxygen for them to breathe. Brownbeard survived the attack from the Yeti Cool brothers and attacked Caesar. He just wants Caesar to let his men go. Caesar laughs, saying he has no subordinates and they all belong to him. Caesar blows up the lab with his gas nets attack, leaving with the children on an airship. Caesar is ready to demonstrate the power of his new mass weapon and opens a broadcast channel to the interested black market brokers.
Yikes.
Yikes, indeed.
Caesar's power on display again. Bros
Almost was-
airbending the air out of people.
Yeah, we do get an answer there.
Yep.
Yeah. That's brutal.
It's pretty it's pretty OP that he has a power that's just a phase of matter.
Right.
Which is like necessary for human beings to live. And without even making contact, somebody can just cut that off. So that is pretty broken.
Oda did like leave it, I was saying, in a certain diameter, which I feel like it's good balancing for the meta.
So it's not like, oh, I can make somebody not be able to breathe from like across the world. It's like, you know, within a certain radius. But I mean, like, even being close enough to him is dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Breathtaking. Literally.
Well played. That one left me speechless.
He's not just a powerful fighter with an oppressive power. He's also a complete asshole who lies to children, as we knew. But it just keeps happening.
Mhm.
It just keeps happening. I'm feeling. I don't know if it's the exact same way, but I'm sensing the same pattern I did with Spandam here.
Yeah.
And fuck Caesar Clown, bro. Fuck Caesar.
You can't keep getting away with this.
Keep getting away with this.
Speaking of Caesar's powers, we see another of these like electric explosions. And I've noticed that he's got this like handheld device seemingly. I don't know if we talked about this last episode or not, but I went back to see if this object was in the same scenes as our previous explosions, and they are. So I'm thinking it's some sort of like spark, like a sparking device or something to like ignite the gas to make an explosion.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. It looks just like a little like
the castanet.
Oh yeah, what is a castanet? I guess
It's
I don't know.
you know, like the it's like a type of instrument, but it's like a clicky clacky thing. So you know, like sometimes like the dancers will like
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah.
I see. So it's a castanet.
Yes, it's a pun.
Gas. A castanet.
But I think
that's clever.
that is a good point though. He probably is using it to ignite the gas. Because that's like the catalyst for the explosion itself. So he can manipulate the gas, but that's the thing I think that does ignite the gas. And speaking of
cool.
you know, fire and stuff, he was able to stop Usopp's cool attack where he shot like a fire bird, and
Yeah.
then he just like, took out all the oxygen from the fire and it just like disappeared. So even like the fire was like useless against him.
Yeah, I love how it has showed that visually with like this fiery phoenix that Usopp launches, and then it like comes out the other side of Caesar, and it's like this little charred like baby bird looking thing. It has like shrunk down in
Oh
size
yeah,
and lost all of its menace.
yeah.
I mean,
It
I
just
was
like
always
goes in.
wondering, like back in Ennie's lobby when he used it to shoot down the flag. I was always like, how is Usopp doing that? And I never thought of it being just like a little bird that he actually sets on fire, like a little like it looks like a little
Hmm.
toy thing or something like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually.
That's a nice Easter egg from Oda.
Yeah, so it could be a cool thing. He like lights with like oil and then like he ignites it and like shoots it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
which
good point.
it feels like kind of reminiscent of like if that's just like the way Usopp fights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like the same as like the 5-ton, 10-ton hammer. You know, it's just this little thing. It just looks, you know,
Yeah, you pull back the curtain.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Now he didn't even really get to use an attack. Caesar
Yeah.
just said no.
yeah. She started to try to use her climate baton, and then he just like takes away her oxygen in the middle of the attack. So
Yeah, I would be curious to see Nami's matchup into Caesar. I feel like it might be better than some of our other Straw Hats. She's
Yeah.
able to manipulate like temperature and the air around her, maybe.
yeah, but then is he also in turn able to like manipulate it right back?
Right.
I don't know how that like works logistically.
Yeah.
It is impressive that it is Caesar going against like two of the. They're not the only distance fighters of the crew, but I feel like they're some like the more overtly distance fighters. Because like I'd say Robin's also in that category, kind of, but she can be a
Mhm.
little more face to face, and I'd say Frankie sort of like can swing both.
Yeah. Yeah, Frankie's got some distance moves too, but like Robin, I think she still has to make physical contact too, even though she's doing it from a distance. It's still
Yeah.
like her arms and stuff like that are reaching out and like hitting people or
Yeah.
grabbing them.
I guess
So.
I'm thinking from the perspective of like Caesar's diameter, right?
Yeah.
Like if we're trying to solve the Caesar matchup here, right?
Yeah.
Then like, you know, you can't get within X feet of him, and so like just Robin being able to position herself or Nami or Usopp, I feel like are the most pronounced. It's cool seeing, oh, here's the answer. Nope, he just bodies them too.
Right.
Great.
Right.
Love it.
Well, one thing that's never really been defined is Robin's range either.
You're right.
So, yeah, so we don't know if it's like within Caesar's range or if it's like more than Caesar's range.
Yeah. We don't know Caesar's range either. A certain distance.
Very
A
specific.
certain diameter. This is why when anyone tries to put numbers to power scaling in One Piece, I kind of just have to laugh.
Yeah. It's like not that important. So it's like we don't need to give you those parameters. Just like so that way he doesn't have to like lock himself into a box.
Right. Which is
I
like to
can
me
manipulate how I want to.
Yeah, and to me, that's like one very impressive that he's able to like give himself that freedom while still keeping it really believable. But it's also just funny to me.
Yeah.
That he's just said, like, I can do whatever I want. Sucks to suck. And
Yeah,
you believe it.
Yeah, so it's like putting like a restriction on it without like being too restrictive. So it's like, oh, it's not like, oh, I can do this like anywhere. It's like I can do it like somewhere close by. So that's all you need to know. That's enough to like really give you the important information.
That's the real shonen power system. The way Oda has like unlocked his own Nen with this.
Yeah, it's just very unfortunate though to see these kids kind of being just victimized, and like they've woken back up, like the effect that Usopp had wore off, and now it's no longer effective to knock him back out again. And now they're going through withdrawals, and they're getting more hostile, breaking out the chains and attacking Usopp and Nami, who are trying to help. And then Nami has like the self-restraint to be like, hey, like they're kids, they can't help it, like it's not their fault, like don't hurt them. And Usopp's kind of like, yeah, we're kind of in a tough spot, but yeah, I understand. It's just like very unfortunate to see the kids be in the situation and Caesar just manipulating them once again.
Yeah.
We also
Good
have
to see Brownbeard. Oh,
No, I was gonna say the same thing. You go. You got
Flip
it.
a coin.
yeah, no, it's good to see Brownbeard still has some fight in him. You know, he kind of looked like a goner last time we saw him.
Yeah.
But he makes a timely appearance here. He gets the face down Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
Gets a
Now
second
knowing
win.
of the betrayal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad that he's okay. Yeah, but once again, it's like one of those things where it's like it's hard to tell when people are actually getting killed in One Piece when they get like blasted multiple times, like point blank, and they just
Yeah.
like stand up like an hour later.
Yeah. Caught on
You
fire.
still fight it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the scene with Brownbeard is really, and a couple other instances are really making me see how much of a theme loyalty is in Punk Hazard. Like I think
Yeah.
like technology, like science, like we're starting to like get there a bit here. It's at least becoming more forefront in the story. But Brownbeard saying that I don't care, I was deceived, my pride will survive, but I want my men back. Also makes me think of Smoker seeing the ship blow. Oh my god, it's my men. So it's like
Mhm.
the loyalty the leader has to their men, but also, as we'll get into with like a couple other things, what happens when you break that loyalty, which has always been like an undercurrent in One Piece in a lot of like ideological fights between Luffy and other people. But I feel like it just feels more at the forefront here, and especially the loyalty that Brownbeard had towards Caesar. I'm excited for this to keep getting played with.
Yeah. Like loyalty and truthfulness, and like a bunch of alliances are formed, and some are formed equally, some are not not formed equally.
Yep.
You know. Yeah, it is kind of an interesting like sub theme.
Yep. Can we trust Law? Can Luffy trust Law?
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, we've already seen the Law kind of like betraying people that he's been working with recently.
Yeah. We'll get.
He just got betrayed. He also
got
betrayed
Yep.
back by Monet, and
So, yeah. So like, who can you trust, and like, who's playing who?
A lot of switcheroos in Punk Hazard.
And then a counter like point on that theme is Caesar having people that are loyal to him and him like abusing that loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
So like we see like Brownbeard who wants to have like his men's respect, and then we have Caesar who has the respect, but he's like abusing it, taking advantage of people, and like he's like discarding people like Brownbeard who have been serving him and being loyal to him, and he just disposed them like trash when they're no longer useful to him. Like he's like mocking Brownbeard for like being like so gullible and trusting him. So he's like laughing, and he's like, "What do you mean you have men? Like they're my men. They're working for me. Like you have no power." And then like we see, we're gonna see continually as well, like how Caesar has people doing his dirty work for him, and then he doesn't care if they make it out. It's like, when Spiley got released, they're like, all right, Caesar, how do we get out of here? Like this is bad. Is it, yeah, don't worry, like you'll be fine. And then they just get killed. It's like that's all he cared about. So Caesar's willing to use anybody and dispose of them as he sees fit.
Bastard.
Yeah.
Although we do get this great face when when Brownbeard talks about how he wants his men back, and then Caesar's face, like he's confused, like, huh? He has like this very twisted, like distorted face. It's actually very comical. Like he does have a very expressive face.
Yeah, it's like disgust and questioning mixed
and mocking
together.
Yeah,
in like a mocking way. Yeah, a very punchable face in this instance.
Incredibly. We also get some nice world building. We have some teases of world building at the end here.
Yeah, a couple of silhouettes here.
The illicit underground brokers.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, Evan, you recognize
the last? Well, I mean, yeah, this last one is very recognizable as Kid.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Do we have a couple other supernovas? Some of them look familiar, but I don't remember if they're like part of the crew of.
Which panels are you talking about? Who?
Right next to Kid, there's the guy with the mustache. It kind of looks like. Or no, that's our egg guy. That's Eggman, isn't it?
Yep.
Very time ago.
That's Humpty Dumpty and the lion turtle.
Peckham's.
Peckham's. Yeah.
I miss my wife, Peckham's.
But who's that below them? With the
That's a good
sword on their
question.
neck?
It's a very good question.
That I don't recognize.
I'll be honest with you, I don't recognize him either.
I have an idea, but I'm not completely sure.
Is it somebody that you could say,
No.
or
I can't say.
Okay.
I can text Joel. I can't say Devin.
Yeah. I thought it might have been like Hawkins or something, but I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, this is probably someone we don't know yet. I mean, we do learn here that Kid has a direct line to Caesar here with all these other shady people.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, there's some implications there.
Like Big Mom's people, like that checks out, I guess. But yeah.
So I don't know if it's Caesar who's directly I don't know what the logistics are, like how the black market's connected here, or if there's like some kind of like middleman. Because I don't know if like Caesar wants anybody like tracing something back to him and where he's at in particular. I don't know. I feel like it would be risky if like too many people get involved. So I don't know if there's some kind of like VPN thing going on here, or if it's more like a Joker thing that's like a Joker system being used for the black market.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's not Caesar calling everyone, but it's like like they're all in the same Discord server and Joker's the mod.
Yeah.
It's just like, but like anyone can stream and they all can see, and the streamer's identity might be untraceable.
But these are people that do have connections to the black market, at least. That
Yeah.
I think we'd say for sure.
Yeah. So they definitely.
And Caesar's speaking like they know who's talking. Like he doesn't need an introduction here. Like he's speaking as if everyone already knows what's going on, and this is just an update.
Yeah, like they're probably familiar with like who Caesar is and what he's offering. This probably isn't his first time like doing this either. I feel like he's like presented other things before, and it's like, oh, let's check out the new thing that Caesar is going to present to us today.
Yeah.
All right, but do you guys have anything else before we move on?
No.
All right, let's move on. Caribou's New World Ki-Hi-Hi Volume 2, No Running Away Now, My Sweet Little Mermaids. It's Caribou, and he's back to kidnapping mermaids.
This guy needs to go away.
Get a new fucking hobby, bro.
Well, he's back to Plan A.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, stealing that treasure didn't work out for me? All right, let's go back to try and get these mermaids.
Fucking guy.
Yeah, we never really got like a conclusive storyline with him. He just kind of like came in with the Straw Hats and then just kind of faded into the background, I feel like.
Well, we're getting more of that story now.
Yeah, unfortunately. Guess what I'm saying is I wish he was dealt with in the storyline, but
yeah, but this is the great thing about One Piece is you don't know what pieces are going to be important and how they're going to be moved around.
So true.
One thing to also remember is Caribou heard about the ancient weapon talk.
Right.
And now he's out running free.
Right.
That's dangerous information to have.
Sure is.
But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Okay, but let's get to the chapter. Chapter 675, I call it Land of the Dead. As the children disembark with Caesar back at the lab, Mocha begins to have second thoughts and realizes they're making a mistake, begging to go back to Nami. Caesar's henchmen lock the doors, preventing the children from being able to leave. Caesar returns to his prisoners, where Monet and Brogo sit casually while waiting for Caesar to begin his demonstration. Caesar is pleased with how things turned out, having previously taken Law's heart as collateral in exchange with Monet's heart, in case he tried to pull something. Caesar now has Smoker's heart as well, giving him control over both of them. Monet informs Caesar the video displays are ready. Caesar set up a large piece of candy on the island and begins to explain to the brokers that he's perfected his gas weapon, adding a modification to prevent the victims from being able to run away and recover. He calls this weapon the Land of the Dead. As Zoro's group runs from Smiley, they come across the large piece of candy. They notice some of Caesar's men with a small dragon near it carrying a cart, and continue heading toward them. Caesar displays a video transmission of himself so Smiley can see him and tries talking to him. Smiley is more interested in the candy and eats it.
Smiley's kind of cute, right?
Yeah.
It's not just
Smiley's
me.
adorable.
Yeah, I
love
agree.
Smiley.
You're adorable killing machine.
Yeah, weapon of mass destruction.
Existence is not a crime.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, man.
But killing people is.
It's
I
not
love that
Smiley's fault, man. He just wanted the candy.
And I love that the pieces of Smiley were referred to as Smileys, like all the little Smileys are gathering together to make Smiley. Kind of cute.
Yeah. We see Smiley on the move, and this is part of Caesar's big plan with his demonstration for this weapon. So it looks like he's setting up some pieces, putting things into place. There's a large piece of candy, and Caesar sets up the video to be able to communicate with Smiley. So he's setting the stage here. I did think it was funny where Smiley, like Caesar's trying to have this like connection with Smiley. He's like, "Oh, Smiley, I missed you. It's been years, and so good to have you back. I got your favorite snack ready." And he's like, "Smiley, no, wait, hold on. Like we have a catch up to do." And then and then like after Smiley eats the candy, Caesar like tries to like save face. And, okay, Smiley, eat it. Good boy, good boy. And I was like, he's not even listening to you. Like he's not obeying your commands. Like
Yeah.
I do enjoy the gag of Caesar trying to act like he's premeditated the situation when clearly something just went wrong.
yeah.
And Monet's commenting on it is also very, very nice.
Well, not about things going wrong. I just feel like things are just moving like according to plan. Like he just doesn't have control of it, and he wanted to like just have more of a moment before going into this, and then it's just like, all right, well, whatever. Things are moving. We're just gonna go to the next part.
Yeah, I guess by going wrong, you mean like him not being in control. Yeah, it's not like catastrophic. It's like
right. Yeah.
Oh wow, great job! God, you really sucks at this. He's a shitty actor.
It's kind of like when Luffy was training like the zombie, like the Cerberus, and throwing a bark, where he was like shake, like good boy. Like, he's trying to give like the commands, he's like sit, and he had to like punch it down.
Yeah.
Like, good boy.
Yeah.
That was like his way to train it.
Yeah. Luffy at least does something to fix it. He's just like takes out any involvement, just like tries to take credit for shit. Loser.
I feel like he's always putting up this fake facade, though. He like initially is like all, he's like has like this fake personality that he puts on to manipulate people. Like even in the previous scene, right before we get the Smiley scene, his henchmen are having sled problems. And he's like, what? Oh no. And then you see Monet thinking like, wow, he's such a bad actor, which
really
would lead
funny.
you to believe that like it was sabotaged in some way and the sled was never going to make it back.
Yeah, he had no intention of getting them out of there.
Right. And no intention of saving them or letting them save themselves. So
again, that's how he repays their loyalty.
Yeah.
But we do see another dragon.
Mm.
Looks like one of Vegapunk's. This one's like a small version of it.
This one's really cute too.
Yeah. I'm loving these dragons. One Piece doesn't have enough dragons. I'm just
let's change
realizing
that.
now.
We also get some insight into the arrangement between Caesar and Law.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a big one.
That's pretty
And-
crazy.
I find it really hard to believe that Law would willingly give Caesar his heart.
It does seem like something he's too smart for, doesn't it?
It seems so out of character for Law. It's the person who has to have control over everything, who thinks everything through, thinks ahead. Like, it seems so out of character.
At the same time,
It's kind of shocking.
I kind of feel like, what other choice did he have in that situation? Because if like
But
let's see he doesn't, and he's like, no, I'm not going to do that, and he's like, I can't trust you. I'm just going to kill you right here. So this way, he's at least like, even if he doesn't fully trust either, he's at least like doing it as a sign of good faith and kind of playing. He could be playing the long game. He could have like some kind of like backup plan. We don't exactly know, but at the same time, I feel like either way, he kind of has to do it if he wants to proceed with his plan. So maybe he's that committed to this plan that he's trying to do that he's willing to make this risk.
I think it's the commitment to the plan, because Joel, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Caesar ever said, "You give it to me or I'll kill you."
Correct. Yeah,
It
that
was,
wasn't
"If you
outright
want to
stated.
stay on this island, you give it to
Mhm.
me."
Right.
And so if Law had the option to leave, that means like this whole thing with Joker, with Doflamingo, with the lab, like it's
Mhm.
it's that big a deal to him.
And we even see Caesar here admit, he says, "You're more powerful than I am. Like there's a power imbalance here. And so I need something from you in order to make this like a even partnership." And
Or
so he
is
gives Monet's heart for his heart.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't honestly don't buy it. I don't know.
that's so Caesar.
It's so Caesar.
Yeah, that's so Caesar, but
That's not even exchange. And
I don't know.
we also don't know if he legitimately thinks that Law is more powerful. It could just be him manipulating the situation in order to, get away with this. Like,
Mm.
oh, but you're so much stronger than me. Like, this is even the playing field. Like, he could like be again like in the situation where he's like, I have the upper hand still, but I'm just going to do this so that way, like, you can fall like into my traps. That way, I can take advantage of the situation if I need to.
That's a really good point. That's a really, really good point.
He wants to have all the cards in his hand.
Yeah, maybe Law has like a refrigerator full of hearts that he can just go, do a little swap.
Well, he did have those 100 pirate hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are those at? One of those would come in handy right now.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is an interesting interaction because I feel like they're both maybe not manipulative, but like they're both like forward thinking, planning types, plotting types. So like I
Yes.
Yeah.
wonder who outsmarts who here because the fact that Law goes along with this terrible deal, it's a completely one-sided deal. He's like, you're gonna repair all my men. You're gonna get inside. Like I don't know. It just seems like a very one-sided deal where Law doesn't have a lot of leverage here. I can't see Law putting himself in that kind of situation. So I'm curious to see the reveal here.
Yeah. Must be something. There must be something.
Oh, we also get a little reveal on Monet. It says Monet cleverly changed her shape.
Yep.
So I'm curious exactly what that means too. It makes me wonder if she's a Delafrit user or not.
Oh, okay. It's a possibility.
Hmm.
And another thing about Monet is that she willingly goes along with this too, because she's also being put in a situation where she's at like a disadvantage or a vulnerable state where like she's just fine with giving away her heart. So if things go bad, like she could also die, but she's like, yeah, that's fine. So
Yeah,
she's also
super
being loyal to
casually
Caesar.
said, yeah, fine, take my heart, no biggie. But Law's still the one who has to actively, take out the hearts and turn them over. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We will certainly see.
I'm very skeptical though.
I think it's pretty valid. I just love seeing this from you, Evan.
Yeah.
I love speculative Evan. It's my favorite.
You guys also got me on the Law love wagon, so I'm like, there's no way this guy would be okay with this if he didn't have something up his sleeve,
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see.
One thing to point out though is when Virgo squeezes the heart, blood does start to bleed from his mouth. So it looks like it's physically hurting him.
Mhm.
So this leads me to believe that this is his actual heart.
Yep. That's how it looks.
And most likely what was happening to make Law collapse earlier.
That's also good
Yeah,
point.
because
Yeah.
Rose carrying around this heart.
A weird guy.
Yeah, and then we do see just a glimpse of a few more of the brokers, but no like clear like characters that I think that we recognize here, and they're all like in shadow, so we can't really get a good look at any of them. But we're just kind of seeing that there's more people out there observing, and Caesar says he's kind of like refined this process. And he's got that grim name Land of the Dead, so he's got like an added element here that's going to make it harder to survive. So it's even more deadly than it was 4 years ago.
The only issue with it last time was that it was too damn safe.
Not deadly enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys good to move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's find out more about this weapon with chapter 676, the perfect weapon of mass murder. After eating the candy, something begins to happen to Smiley, and it affects his body. Smiley's body begins to melt away, turning into gas. A piece of fruit that was in the cart seems to turn into a devil fruit, and Caesar tells Smiley he will see him again someday. As some of Caesar's men become enveloped in the gas, they become covered in a gas casing, petrifying them in place. The G5 men outside the lab don't realize at first that the video they're watching is happening live on this island, but they figure it out once they see the large gas cloud coming their way. Zola's group notices the dragon, and they decide to catch up to it to try to get a ride away from the gas. Luffy is concerned for his friends as he watches the video, but Caesar flips a switch to move the prison cage outside. Chopper is hit in the head with a crumpled up piece of paper with a note telling him not to do anything. Outside, G5 sees their leaders above. Dashiki is concerned for her subordinates. Law tells Luffy to stick to the plan and it's time to go on the counterattack.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Yeah, what?
What? Just a bag of apples.
Smiley's turning apples into devil fruits.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Evan, yeah, what do you make of this, Evan?
So it's interesting because the way it's shown to us, you can't really tell if this information is only being given to the viewer or if there's something that Caesar's aware of or not.
What do you think?
I don't know. This like opens a huge can of worms because it's like suggesting that like devil fruits can be made artificially.
Maybe Caesar knows something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you had any theories on devil fruits so far, Evan?
No, but I've always pictured them as like naturally occurring fruits, like a very rare, naturally occurring fruit, and they're all like one of a kind.
Okay.
But
I think the
never
one of a
thought
kind
of
thing is
them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
one of a, yeah, they're like all one of a kind. But I've always pictured them being naturally occurring and just incredibly rare to find. But this kind of opens a can of worms that they could be artificially made.
Yeah. The only thing I will say here is this feels intentional on Caesar's part.
Yeah.
Because he specifically had his men bring this cart out there with these apples. And one thing he says is, "Very good, Smiley. May we meet again." So I think this was Caesar's plan the whole time, was to set this up. We don't know exactly what's happening here, but I think Caesar does.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Like for the first read through, I thought it felt more coincidental that like these guys brought apples with them as a snack for traveling. Then they abandoned it, and I assumed that he left them to abandon because he wanted them to die as like an example of like showing the power of the explosion. So they're more just like fodder, which turned out to
be true.
also happened. Yeah, and I thought the apples were just a coincidence, but yeah, I mean. And I guess I interpreted his like very good, Smiley. Well, may we meet again? Just being like, this is a replicable action that he could do again, or like he built Smiley out of an island's worth of toxic gas. So it sounds almost like it's a process that's repeatable, where he is
right,
able to recreate him or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. So it seems like he does have to sacrifice Smiley here, which is sad. As like destructive as Smiley is, it is sad to see, like, again, the loyalty to Caesar always just leads to you dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, we see a case here where he sacrifices Smiley because it needs to go back to like the gas form. So this dissolves the creature of Smiley back into a gas. And if this is the weapon he's trying to sell to these brokers, it is something he like you said, has to be repeatable. Like if this demonstration is pointless if he's not able to replicate this.
Right.
So he does need to have some way to be able to do this again, but he's showing off like the application and how it can be used.
Yeah, I wonder
And
if
like this
he's
is kind of showing it's not all smoke. Yeah, there's like this is like the real deal.
right. Yeah, I'm so curious how the devil fruit tie into this. Do they make more like gas type users? Did he create his own devil fruit that gave him gas ability? Does he have? Is that his real talent? Is being able to make devil fruit?
These are all very
Yeah.
good questions.
Yep.
But then, yeah, so we do see the gas take effect here, and we see what he means now about them not being able to like leave and like recuperate. It's lethal because he frees them in place. Like they get covered like in this like almost like a wax type thing, but it's like a coating that goes over them, and they have no choice but to be frozen and just absorb this gas until they die, which is a pretty rough way to go.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, it's pretty horrifying to see the results of the gas and like how excited that Caesar's getting that it's a success.
Yeah.
But we do get everybody running just like Brooke, which is peak comedy.
Yeah.
I will say that much.
Yes.
That's pretty great.
Don't they bring attention to it also? And maybe it's in the next chapter.
Do they? I'm not sure. I forget.
Yeah, it's something about like, oh, it's in the next chapter. But they say even with this odd manner of running, I don't think we're gonna escape or whatever. So they
That's pretty
do
funny.
bring attention to the fact that everyone's running like, yeah, like Brooke.
So we do see that the Zoro's group is now in that same position, and they're trying to catch Orion the dragon. Luffy is concerned for his friends, but then he's also in the same position now, where he gets put outside in the cage. Like they just flip him out. So, so yeah, now they're the people who were caught prisoner by Caesar earlier. Are now going to have to find a way to not get caught up by this gas.
You also get a mystery note. Chopper. A mystery note falls from the sky, hitting Chopper in the head, and says, "Don't do anything." And my immediate thought is it's gotta be either Law or Monet, were my two predictions I wrote down, because Law's ability just like works perfectly into it, but he's tied up, and so possibly Monet, just because
She's very unpredictable.
She's kind of been mysterious. She's like the mysterious one in the room. I feel like she's the one person who I don't really know. We don't know like why she's blind to Caesar. You know, like we don't really have any background on her. She's kind of a mystery.
Yeah, so we don't know like her true loyalty.
Yeah.
Caesar did refer to her earlier as his invaluable secretary, but we know that Caesar will like, you know, say that kind of things like, oh yeah, like you know, Brownbeard, you're doing such a great job, or like, you know, whatever. So he might say things that people want to hear, but like he might not mean that. So you can't trust anything Caesar says. Yeah. So when they might not be buying it, or maybe she is loyal, like, or like there might be some other reason why she's here. We don't even know like her motivation, like her motives, or like what her deal is. But yeah, that's a possibility here. One thing I will say is we do see this one panel where Law has this like very determined look on his face, and then Chopper has a shock reaction. But the thing is, Law is currently trapped in the prison, and he has the sea prism cuff. So like, I don't know how he began this note to Chopper from inside the prison.
Yeah, just the writing of the note in itself, let alone the transporting of it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, I just carry these around in case I need to send them out to somebody.
Okay, so like that's honestly probably a good habit for if this were to be Law, that'd be a good habit for him to get in if he's with the Straw Hats, because everything works. If just Luffy, you don't do anything. Zoro, don't do anything. The rest of you, except for the girls, don't do anything, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just don't touch anything. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
Don't do anything.
Until I tell you.
Yes. Thank you. I feel like that's just his brain 24/7.
You think Luffy would heed a note though that says "Don't do anything"?
I mean, it's like swimming upstream, but like sometimes you just have to. Sometimes it's all you can do.
Yeah, I think that's a waste of paper at that point.
Yeah. He doesn't know what he's truly in for yet, though.
Yeah, so the good thing is, at the end of the chapter, Law announces that he has a plan. So he's like, "All right, guys, don't mess it up. But I got a plan. We're doing this."
Of course he does.
Hey, you guys have any other thoughts on this one?
All right, I have one stupid thing. You can cut this out. But how does this cage get outside? Like in the panel where the cage is like moving and like apparently being like swung outside, like it looks like it's just disappearing into the wall, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I think the thing is, I think it like rotates out.
It's like on a crane and it's like hanging.
I
I don't
think
know. I just
but-
spent way too much time trying to figure out how they actually got this like
No, I'm
Great.
with you.
outside. It looks like it just disappears into the wall. Like it almost looked like it almost looks like a law ability. Like it just so smoothly like transitioning through a wall. I'm like, what's
Okay.
happening here?
So here's what I think is happening. So there's like a hatch above, like so the wall above the cage opens up like a hatch. So normally it would just be flush with the cage,
Mhm.
but it pushes out and then allows the cage to rotate out. I think the cage is actually no, it's the same orientation because we see the stripes are on top still. So I don't know. Oh, it's being suspended by chains.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
like on a
my only
crane.
issue. That is my only issue. Because unless that's like there's like an outputting of the cage that juts out, and there's already like two little hooks for the chains that are already installed on there. I don't see how it gets from the inside to outside above ground to being suspended just like that. Unless the cage is like tipped on like hold on. What do I have that's cube shaped? Like if I can't show Evan that. Wait, hold on. Okay, so if this is the cage and it's coming out and like the hatch opens and that makes it sort of do this. By the end of it, we see all four corners being supported by chains, and this is completely inconsequential, but it's
I know.
fun,
That's
man.
why I almost didn't want to bring it up, but like I spent so much
No,
time
Evan, you're
looking
right.
at this.
It's stupid, but like, why the fuck not? Okay, so the only thing I think of is if these two back corners are already chained up, then it comes out and then it kind of just like tips, and everyone who is like here just falls on their faces into the corner, and then somehow everyone's like, "Okay, guys, cage is out. Let's rig these two up. Okay, good, clear." And then they start doing it like that. Like it's just Caesar's really shitty, insanely high budget indie film set.
Okay, so I
yeah.
have a different explanation
Okay.
where so I think it's already connected at the corners, but the chain is just flat on the top because you can see like the little like the fence on the top of the cage going around. And I think the chain probably just rests on there, and there's a circle in the middle of the chains that it just needs to connect from there. So they do need to somehow get the crane to connect to that circle once the cage has been tipped out. But I think it has to be tipped out enough to allow the crane to hook onto it. So I think that's the only thing that we don't see is the crane outside reaching to grab that circle. But I think it just pulls up kind of like a bag, like a grocery bag type thing. So it pulls up from the middle, it grabs at one point where the circle is, and that lifts up the entire cage with all 4 points already connected from the cage. I think the cage is built, well, the chains are built into the corners of the cage.
Yeah, I
If
guess
that makes sense.
I didn't realize that like the top of the cage kind of does have like that lip, and so the chains
Yeah.
could be inside of that. I was like, well,
Yeah,
where are why
could
wouldn't
be
the chains be
resting.
visible from inside? I didn't realize. And
Yeah.
it looks like it's just a hook. I don't even think there is like a circle attaching the chains. It's just
Oh yeah, it could just be the hook.
yeah. So okay, so like yeah, the second it's a little outside, the hook is just there to start scooping up. Then it's automatically supported.
Yeah, so I think he just tilts it out enough to allow room for the chain to just be hooked by the crane.
God damn it, Oda made it work. Oda made this shit plausible. What the hell?
Because
You can't keep getting away with this.
yeah, I know this is like so minor, but like if you look down at the bottom of the page, I feel like the cage is still at the same angle. So it's like it's waiting there, I think, for it to get hooked up. So I think he just like tilts it out enough while the crane comes in, hooks it up. But it's not like constantly moving. It's just like it just tilts out enough to give access to where the chain is, and then it pulls it out. So then it's just suspended in the air. And then they can just close the shutter behind it.
You're completely right. You're completely right. Yep.
Okay, yeah. I think we solved One Piece.
Satisfied.
We can just end the episode there. We got it.
Good shit, y'all.
We also see Chopper incorrectly peeking in this scene.
Oh, it's been a minute. You're right.
Someone's really got to address this.
That's actually really funny.
Really
One of the
nice.
Straw Hats really has to address this. Because this is a crucial moment right here. If Chopper's discovered right now, that could be real bad.
Yeah, imagine like he's like just sticking out in the middle of the doorway. Like, what's that thing over?
Because he's facing the Straw Hats. You could imagine the Straw Hats could see Chopper like peeking out over the corner.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, we good to move on?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. You can cut.
No,
all
that's
that.
okay.
That was,
I do think that was actually interesting to talk about because like it worked differently than I expected. I thought the chain basically just like flipped upside down, but that wasn't the case because you could see where the stripes were. It's the same place where it was. It wasn't like it was on both sides, so it was impossible for the cage to flip upside down. It just got tilted downward enough for it to be hooked up. So we figured it out together. It was a group effort.
Good stuff.
Just takes 3 readers to figure it out, but we got there.
that
How many
Vegapunks,
weaves does it take to
man.
lift a box?
That Vegapunk's a real innovator.
Okay. So let's move on to Caribou's New World, Ki-Hi-Hi, Volume 3, Ki-Hi-Ha. T, diamond-shaped T. Jinbei punches Caribou in the face, stopping him from being able to kidnap the mermaids.
Yeah, get wrecked.
Yay.
Yeah, well, how did you interpret the T, diamond shaped T?
I was going to ask you guys.
I think it's just like, oh!
Is it like a face?
Oh, okay. Could be.
Yeah, it's like, because I think like T_T has like the 2010 AIM crying emoji.
Oh, okay.
And then the diamond's like the mouth going, oh.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I do like the title. The title makes sense to me. Like he's getting punched mid laugh.
Yeah,
Right.
that picked up. Yeah, not the crying face, but that makes a lot of. He does literally have tears in this panel, so I do think that's the answer. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was like looking up like what's T, diamond shaped T, like I had no idea what that was referenced to. Like, does it stand for something? Is there like some kind of like symbol that like I'm not familiar with? But that makes a lot of sense. It's like an emoji face.
That's funny.
Thank you. Because that was bothering me. I'm like, I don't know what this is.
Love seeing Jinbei though.
Yeah.
Healthy and kicking ass.
Yeah, it's satisfying to see it's Caribou's.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get into chapter 677, Counter Hazard. One of the viewers watching Caesar's demonstration from his hideout happens to be Eustace Captain Kidd. Kidd is amused to see Luffy and Law making moves, but feels it's a waste of time to watch. Killer lets Kidd know the people they were expecting have arrived. Reminds Kidd to keep his cool. As he opens the door, he sees Apu and Hawkins sitting at the table. Kidd is upset to see Apu defeated some of his men. When the 3 captains are already at each other's throats, Killer tells them to stop, reminding them that they need to talk things out if they want to form an alliance. Back on Punk Hazard, Law instructs Frankie to light one of the ships below on fire, which creates a smoke cover for the cage. Law reveals that he had previously swapped out the sea prism chains for regular chains in anticipation for something like this. They swap Smoker and Tashigi back to their normal bodies. In exchange, they're free to go and expose Virgo, but need to not act on anything involving he and Joker. Sanji manages to catch the dragon they were chasing, while Nami and Usopp put a ride on Brownbeard to run away from the gas. Law uses his powers to get everyone out of the cage and then move them into the lab from the front. Law flips a switch, letting the men from outside into the building so they won't be caught by the gas. The rest of the Straw Hats come across each other outside and approach the front of the lab as the shutter begins to close again. Zoro and Kinemon slice the shutter down anyway, allowing them to get inside.
Woo. Got some alliances this chapter.
The volume is called Pirate Alliance.
Yup.
But Not Alliance says this was a surprise one.
Yep.
Yeah, so what do you make
Well,
of that?
Is this the first time we're seeing Captain Kidd post a time jump?
Yeah.
Because he looks different. He looks pretty badass here.
What looks different about him?
Well, he's got a big old honking metal arm. Was that there before? Did he always have that?
No.
I feel like that's part of his power, right? He can manipulate like metal things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, he's got an even more. He was pretty badass before, but now he's like super badass, I think.
Yeah, he does look pretty cool.
Yeah, this is a pretty. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I just never thought about like how insane this guy's traps are until seeing it like in the manga again.
Yeah,
Like
it's a lot of neck.
that's a 45-degree angle, dude. His neck is a cone.
Well, and you have to lug around an arm that weighs, 200 pounds.
But it's like killer too, and I'm like, y'all. And I guess Apu a bit. Like I don't know if it's just interesting with like this many giant ass necks in one alliance.
Yeah. He gives off some major. He gives off some villain energy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just visually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hawkins has to step up his neck game if he wants to keep up with this alliance.
Yeah.
He's been doing neck curls. 5 sets, 25 reps. That's the only way to get hypertrophy. Come on.
But yeah, an interesting alliance here. 3 of the pretty strong supernovas teaming up. Must have some big plans. That's a pretty big alliance.
Yeah.
It also feels like Kid's not the kind of person to make alliances, so I feel like he's got to have some sort of reason on why.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem like
I guess they all kind of come off that way.
Yeah, they do have like abrasive personalities, and they all want to be the leader. So they're already kind of clashing. So this feels less like amicable. Like Luffy was like, yeah, that sounds great. Like that sounds fun. They're more like, hey, like I don't know if this is gonna work, but maybe let's try this. So they actually haven't agreed to an alliance yet, but they're like the talks around the table. Like let's see if we can make a deal, like work something out. So they're also trying to make some kind of moves here as well. But we don't know what their game plan is.
I do really feel that contrast is very intentional. And I feel like it's also intentional that Punk Hazard is an island of contrasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Contrast of hot and cold, contrast between Aokiji and Akainu, contrast between Luffy and Law, contrast between like their alliance and this alliance. I feel like Oda's just really, really, really enjoying
Smoker and Virgo.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Killer here as well.
Yeah. Like the voice of reason here, like the level-headed one.
Growing out the beard.
Yeah.
That's different too. Yeah.
Hair's even longer, but still hidden underneath the mask. But also just the fact that he's like, hey, everyone chill out, because we are trying to be constructive here. Like it does feel similar to like the Luffy Zoro relationship, but like Killer's just like a little more civilized. But his name is also Killer, which is just really fun.
It's ironic.
He's
just
like very ironic.
He's just like a pacifist, but like it's like, oh yeah, go get him, Killer. You know, it's like, oh, haha, very funny. You don't kill people. No, I'm sure he does, but it just in the situation, he seems to just be like the one who's trying to keep his captain like the right hand man. You know.
Yeah, we get a little bit of that in the next chapter too.
One thing to Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
just one last thing
I'll
about
get there.
Kid is that we also see his bounty is now 470 million. So
Big
his
one.
is still going up, but it's higher than Luffy's is now.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's been Kid's thing though.
Yeah, but he's not been like chilling. He's been working on that bounty.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's working towards his bounty. Luffy's kind of like just naturally getting his bounty. Like, I don't think that's a specific goal of his, but he just happens to get himself into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Speaking of Luffy, we got the dream team. Luffy, Traffy, and Smokey. Come on. What a dream team. I love this. I love this probably temporary alliance, but I'll take it.
Yeah, everybody's back to their regular bodies except for the last two, but almost there. But yeah, Smoker Tashigi back to him, which is cool of Law. He's like, hey, I'll do the solid. I'll let you live. I'll put you back in your regular bodies. Just don't rat on me, okay? Then we're cool.
But it's also the most like brat of him.
Yeah.
I can't. Oh God. He's just like, oh, what am I gonna do with you? And then leaves them to figure it out. Peak comedy. He just loves the drama.
No, I kind of feel like he doesn't. I feel like it's just like a pain for him. He's like, I don't want to deal with it. So he's like, I'm just going to do whatever's the easiest in this situation. I'm not going to fight it, you know? I think he just wants things to like go smoothly. I don't think he wants like to deal with like extra steps or complications.
Right, I guess, but like when in either untangling complications or getting his way, he's just very much like, I'm gonna fuck with people, or at least because I just feel like every time it feels like there's like this like something catty, like cat and mouse thing with him, like even like in the way he just talks to people.
I think it's like a little bit of like an arrogance kind of thing.
No, 100%. Yes.
Yeah,
You're completely right. You're completely right.
Yeah. So I think he's just kind of like, what am I going to do with you? Like, it's like I'm the one with like in control here. Like, it's kind of up to me. Like, I don't want to have to make this decision. Like, you're kind of like an unnecessary complication I didn't want to deal with in the first place.
Mm.
So he's just kind of like, I guess we'll see if we can just work together. Just don't get my way, kind of deal.
Yeah. For me, it's like it's the decision to just like covertly switch them instead of being like, hey, but what am I gonna do with you? Okay, got it. Here you go.
Yeah.
To me, there's just a little bit like, okay,
because he could be like, I'm just going to kill you right now,
right,
or
right.
I'll just leave you as is. But he's like, no, it's probably just easier if I just work with you. But just be cool, okay?
Yeah.
Right, because I think in this moment their goals are aligned. So he's like, you guys could actually be useful if you were in your own bodies, and like that also, I think probably gives them a little bit of good faith in him.
Yeah. So like he does say here, like, listen, White Chase, I have no obligation to save you, but if you get out alive and ruin Virgo's reputation, that suits my ends. Just forget everything you heard about me and Joker. So he's like, this actually works out for me. So like, yeah, I'll let you go back and like report Virgo. Like that's cool. But like I still have my own thing going on. If I'm going to put you back in your regular body and save you and let you live, then the least he can do is stay out of my way.
Mm-hmm.
And then Luffy is already like going off script again. It's like, how do you already get out of the cage? Speaking of getting out of the cage, though, so Law did have something up his sleeve. So he planned in advance where I'm guessing he didn't replace all of the Sea Prism chains, but he must have only replaced like some of them because Luffy was being affected by it, unless it was like a placebo. But he was saying that he placed around regular chains in case they try to like chain him up. So that way, like he could still use his powers.
Yeah. I mean, this is again him planning way ahead. Like I feel like you're telling me the character that goes around the laboratory and replaces the Sea Prism chains with regular chains in the chance that he's ever captured and chained up, willingly gave his heart to a villain who he knows is capable of chaining him up. And, like, I'm not buying it.
Well, Caesar does have to sleep at some point. So maybe
and I feel like Law does like have the ability to reverse it. You know, like if he's within range or whatever, I'm sure like he's not relinquishing full control. He's only relinquishing control out of his when Caesar's out of his reach. But still,
maybe
I don't
that's
know.
it. Maybe
I
that's
mean, this
it.
guy's all about control. He's like to like willingly give Caesar that much control just seems wild to me. But we'll see. He was lying about the chains. Maybe he's lying about maybe he was acting when they were, you know, kind of like torturing him before. I don't know.
Maybe it was ketchup.
Maybe it was ketchup.
He was watching 4 Kids.
It was sweat.
What if they actually got to Saba, Odie, and 4 Kids? Trafalgar Law, the Surgeon of Doom. Menace Machine. No, we can't call him Unaliver. KO or you know, we're fucked. We're fucked.
Destroyer.
Destroyer. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like destroy is a word that they would use instead of like kill or something.
They did really like destroy.
Or like ender or something.
Dungeoner.
Yeah, so this doesn't also explain how Law got the note to Chopper.
Right.
Because he was still able to use his power, so he did have that note. But when did he write the note? We don't know that still. So yeah, unless he had notes lying around, or maybe like, yeah, I don't know.
Planned ahead.
Or maybe like he wrote it behind his back, and he like maybe like does it look very scribbly? Does it look like he wrote it behind his back? He wasn't looking.
No, the penmanship's pretty solid.
Yeah, it actually is pretty neat.
Yeah, very legible.
Yeah, so that's the only question I saw about that sequence.
What you doing in that coat there, Law?
Just struggling, you know, you see prison cuffs.
Just,
They're on so tight. I feel so weak.
Man's got a whole calligraphy set in his pockets.
Yes.
Or maybe he was just controlling pen and paper outside the cage. Because I would imagine he'd be able to like write like from a distance, because he can just manipulate anything in the room. But can they see a physical room? Well, well, if he did the paper switch or like the paper move, then yeah, they wouldn't see, I guess, anything happening. So maybe the room visualization is more for us, but because nobody else in the room noticed him like doing the paper thing. So yeah, maybe just had like a piece of paper like floating around somewhere and just wrote it from a distance and then crumpled up and boom.
Yeah,
that's my best guess.
Also, wouldn't put it past him it just being a premeditated idea. You know,
because I mean, we talk about how much he loves control, how much he loves planning. I could see him just having like a stack of premeditated, like general purpose responses just ready to go at any time.
I mean, he brought Chopper in there. He knew Chopper was going to be in there, unbeknownst to everyone else. So, like,
he didn't think he was going to capture, though. The capturing part was unexpected.
Or was
not totally unexpected? I mean, he was able to break out because they used the chains that he replaced ahead of time. Like,
yeah, just because. But that's because he was it was like a just in case situation. He did not expect Virgo to be there.
But he has teched for every matchup.
So you thought he'd be in a situation where there'd be somebody else to communicate when he thought nobody else would be on this island?
maybe not today, but it was like, just in case, I'm have it ready. I will Batman prep time my way through this operation.
I want to put it past them.
Not at all.
But one thing that did work out, though, was once everybody was outside the cage, Law was able to. It looks like he kind of makes like a space disappear where like the tower is for the lab, and then they're able to walk through. So I think this kind of answered my question from like last week, where I was asking like, can he like go through like a wall, even if he doesn't know like what's on the other side? But it seems like he probably can't. But he could make like a hole where there wasn't, and he can go through. So maybe he like kind of pushed that space out like into the building, and then he could just like reseal it back.
He was alone before though, so we don't really know. Here he's got to let other people in with him, so he's got to make a hole.
Not necessarily, because he could swap everybody together. If he could do it himself, then he could do it with everybody else too. But I think it's probably like, yeah, I think he probably would have to just make the hole so he can walk through. I don't know if he would be able to like swap himself through a wall if he doesn't know it's on the other side, kind of deal. I don't know. Maybe he could, but
there's got to be an etiquette to teleporting people through walls.
But this still feels different than what he did before. But this just kind of like does, I feel, satisfy my question from last week.
Yeah.
Then lastly, we still have the rest of the Straw Hats who are outside. They are still in danger of the gas, but then Zoro and Kinemon cut down the shutter so that way they can get in without thinking about how they're going to close it back up. But that's a problem for the next chapter. The last thing I just wanted to mention is we do have this comment here from Law where he says, now, what to do about my heart? So he does seem to be actually concerned about it.
Or he's that committed to the bit.
That makes sense.
All right, you guys good to move on?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So let's get to the next part of the cover story. Caribou's New World, Kihihi, Volume 4, escorted by Jinbei. Jinbei has captured Caribou in a barrel, and they leave Fishman Island in a small boat.
All right. Get this psycho out of Fishman Island.
Yeah, right? You're not welcome here anymore.
Yeah.
Jinbei being a cool guy, being like, I'll take care of him.
Bring him to my buddy Hannibal.
If they locked Jinbei up.
Wait a minute. I remember. Wait.
You get back in here too.
Wait a sec.
Crazy.
So, do you think this is a sea prison barrel?
Could be.
Or it's at least like sealed up very, very well.
Or does he have like maybe sea prison cuffs? Like, because I don't know, like his arms are inside the barrel.
Yeah. That would check out.
At the same time, they're also surrounded by the sea. So if Caribou does try to like, well, he has nowhere to go. And if he does try anything funny, Jinbei could just be like, splash.
Yeah.
True.
All right, how about we wrap up with chapter 678, Lobby of Laboratory Building A. Panic that the wall has been cut down, the Navy men quickly act to put it back up and reseal it so the gas can't get in. Outside, everything is covered by the poison coating. The transponder snails have protective bubbles to shield them, which allows them to continue to transmit the video. Brook does some recon using his soul to scope things outside and reports what he sees. G5 points their guns at the Straw Hats, but Law reminds Smoker that they are to leave him and the Straw Hats alone. Law then switches Nami and Sanji back, putting everyone back in their original bodies now. Law makes an announcement that there is a way out to the sea without having to make contact with the outside air, through structure R66. They have 2 hours to get out. Luffy charges ahead to get Caesar. Smoker orders G5 to go to structure R66. Nami tells the Straw Hats to split up to find the children, and Kinemon starts his search for Momonosuke. Smoker orders Tashigi to go with G5 while he goes after Virgo. Zoro tells Luffy this is the new world, so they can't be careless anymore. Luffy acknowledges, though he still wants to have some fun as he takes out Caesar's men along the way.
Reunited.
Yep. Everyone's here now.
Yeah, I love this this 3-panel page we get of everyone with their task, It's just kind of a really fun paneling.
Yeah. It's like, hey, let's just like succinctly like define what everybody's mission is right now.
Yeah. It's kind of a nice way to like wrap up a chapter or wrap up a volume.
Yeah. So everybody's got a game plan. Here's your objective, go for it.
And the composition just feels really dynamic.
For sure.
Yeah, digging it.
Yeah, and Law does give them hope that there is an escape plan, so they aren't all going to be trapped here. So he's familiar with the structure. He gives them a time limit of 2 hours because he has plans too. So he's like, you guys have 2 hours to get your stuff done. After that, he's going to take action Luffy asks if like something happened to the lab, and Law says we're going to try something with unpredictable results.
Unpredictable.
Luffy's already in.
Yeah.
That's my middle
He's
name.
like, that is my plan always.
I love this guy.
Yeah. I love the use of Brooks' soul searching, his like soul ability. We haven't seen that in a minute. It's cool. This is a cool use of it.
Yeah, we just see that back at Fishman Island.
Yep.
We haven't seen him do it since they were captured. And Kinemon still has to find his son.
Yep.
Which has been like he's been saying throughout like, the whole arc. So his goals have been pretty clear from the start.
Mm-hmm.
But like we haven't seen his son yet. When all the other children have been present, his son is somewhere else apparently. Yeah, and I like this moment where Zoro, he's real with Luffy here. He says like, "Hey Luffy, stop goofing around. Like this is serious. Like you've already been defeated. Like you better step up your game. Don't mess up. Like do the job right. Like this is a new world, so we gotta, be better." And Luffy's like,
I like how he was kind of. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you had.
No, I was gonna say, like to that point, I like how it's kind of like the new world starts from here. Like, forget your loss. Like, we're starting over. Everything past this point is like, nothing but wins. That kind of idea. Like, forget about it. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But also do it right. Like, don't be careless. Yeah, I thought that was like a really touching Zoro Luffy moment.
I just love the little panel where Sanji calls Zoro out for projecting. He's so hard on him.
Yeah.
That's the Monster Trio dynamic I really, really love.
Yeah, that's like surprisingly like sympathetic of Sanji, especially for Zoro. Like he actually looks like a little like he kind of like put his guard down a little bit for a second. Like, even if it's like just him thinking to himself, like he was willing to like let himself like think that, where he's like wow, that guy is like he doesn't like give himself a break. And he's like,
Sanji's just total tsundere. Like when he's with Zoro, he's like, no, fuck you. I'm better. Nah, shut up. Oh, he's so hard on himself.
Like he would admit it if Zoro like hurt him. He's like, I didn't say that.
Like he's grocery shopping. He's like, I know Zoro likes this brand of sake. Like I am gonna get that one. Like he's not totally uncaring. Like
he might spit in it, but
maybe I don't even know. Like, for me, it's just like I feel like my favorite Sanji moments are the ones where he like lets that compassion through.
Yeah,
and seeing it for Zoro is just even hell yeah.
That's a very rare moment.
Yeah.
Hot take. Sanji during the body swap says, "You don't have to turn us back." And then when his body swapped, he says, "The dream is dead." And I was like, what if Sanji secretly wants to be a beautiful woman? That's why he's overly crazy, like womanizer. That's why he got sent to the island to run away from his sexuality for 2 years. Like he literally spent 2 years running away. And that's why he's like over the top womanizer. That's why he's like, and then it made me even think like maybe that's why he argues with Zoro. Maybe he actually has a crush on Zoro. And that's why they bicker all the time.
Welcome to the Zosan fandom.
Yeah, is that
Welcome
it?
to the Sanji's a closeted bisexual part of the community.
Is that part of the community?
Oh yeah, there's a very vocal segment.
Dude, Zoro Sanji is like the most popular ship in the series.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I see it from Zoro. Like I don't think I see it for like Zoro being into Sanji, but I definitely could see Sanji being into Zoro.
Like, but that's why it works. And like, do you see Zoro being into anyone though?
No. I dream that he gets with Tashigi.
I don't know.
They got the sword connection. They like.
I think Zoro and Sanji have a sword connection. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god! I think that's funny. So that is like a popular opinion that Sanji is like.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, there's really cute fan comics, and like Zoro's very much like the.
That's funny because I don't know, because I feel like like I kind of had mentioned it last episode when we first got that body swap. I'm like, wonder if there'd be any like lasting effects or like, you know, things that people learn about themselves having like swapped bodies. And like, I wonder if that was like Sanji, like having this moment. Cause he literally says that. He literally says, you don't have to turn his back. And then he said, the dream is dead as soon as they swap bodies back. And like, I get that that's supposed to be like his fantasy of like being Nami.
Or just having free access to Nami. Like,
Yeah, exactly. But like, I don't know. I wonder if it's, I don't know. That was just like a hot take that I had this volume.
I prefer this reading. I very much like, I think Sanji's closeted bisexual. I think I think there may be, I really think about the gender exploration aspect of it, but like that completely tracks. And now I feel like
it does line up well with him getting sent to that island and running for 2 years. Like it's not like he turned and faced his fears in those 2 years. He ran for 2 years. Right.
One thing to add on to that was there was that specific section of that cover story where Sanji was wearing a dress and he looked happy.
Right.
Wow. So like the way I interpret it was like he was embracing like his feminine side. So it might be like a moment where he felt like he could just embrace that and not feel like he was being judged. And like he was able to just kind of like let go. I don't know if that's accurate or like I don't know what he was going through his head exactly, but that does, I think, like lend to what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's crazy because then if you go back and look at like all these like crazy like womanizing moments that are so cringy, like if you look at them through this lens, it almost makes it feel like a defense mechanism, sort of
like an overcompensation.
Like an overcompensation. Yeah.
Could be a possibility.
Which doesn't necessarily excuse them, but it makes them. It just makes sense,
right?
And
Sanji, it just. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a different perspective on it, and it I don't know, makes me think of those scenes slightly differently. But I don't know.
For me, it's like this is one of my favorite things about like how like an alternative reading and fan perception can collide with author's intent. Because like
I'm curious, did that fan theory come up during this moment in the arc, or was it like already happening before this moment?
I'm guessing it was probably Sanji's first appearance.
Really?
I'd say
no.
For me, I think it's as soon as okay. So there are components of this. There's the Sanji's femininity side, and to me, it's like, is it drag or is it actual like gender, right? I've always been like, oh, Sanji's enjoying drag, but now I'm like, oh no, maybe there is some, either trans nature or genderqueer nature or something like that. And to me, that also recontextualizes the scene of him running as Evan alluded to. Whether that was Oda's original intention or not, it's like, oh, can the fandom recontextualize this moment? And I'm really interested in like what's going to happen in the live action for that exact reason, because we're already seeing some recontextualization of Sanji with Taz Skylar's portrayal. But I think as far as like is Sanji straight and is Sanji into Zoro, I think that started like as soon as Sanji and Zoro started being at each other's throats interacting. Like I think of like Little Garden with the who's dinosaurs bigger thing.
Right.
But like
I feel like this realization is new to me, so I feel like I'd always pictured them as like brothers bickering, like the way brothers would bicker. But now it like with that perspective, it could be like a romance bicker.
And Sanji did have that moment where he's like, oh, he's so tough on himself. Poor guy.
But that could be. Here's the thing though. That can be interpreted either way.
Right.
Because Varys could be like, oh damn, like there is like a male friendship thing there. Like it could just be, and it could be both.
But he wasn't running from monsters. He was running from men who dressed as women. Like I feel like it's so specific.
Yeah. Which just is like, it feels, it's just a much better than like Transport Monsters. It's more, if it's Sanji facing fears, like that moment just sits better with me. But like
I almost prefer this because it makes me look at Sanji in a different, like
100%.
It makes me dislike Sanji less, actually. Like,
yes,
funny.
Yes.
Because it kind of, like you said, contextualizes a lot of those really cringy moments.
It puts
As
him in a
you said,
situation
well,
where
as you
he has that internal struggle where like he's trying to wrestle with his feelings and like trying to embrace like parts of himself or accepting parts of himself. Yeah, and it could be him trying to not wanting to admit that to himself, and I think that's something a lot of people can relate to. So if people can
Right.
read into the story and get that out of it, um, I think that's great. Like we don't know exactly what his intent like what his intent is with this story. It could be like something like somewhere in the middle. It could be like things just aren't like in boxes and things aren't as like this way or that way. There could be like a
Totally.
lot of it could be like a spectrum. It could be like there's so much like interpretation and like so much room for you to read into a certain way. So that's what I think is it's great to be able to have that context and see it the way that you want to see it. Like one way like isn't necessarily wrong. It's just like we don't know for sure, and it's like you can kind of read it how you want to.
people have different favorite characters. People have different favorite interpretations.
Mhm.
Also, WG5. G5 Marines, passion of the whole, like
Yeah, saved everybody.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
of them.
Pretty cool.
And they truly are. They do have so much loyalty and commitment. They really are. Okay,
Yeah.
we might like no, we're gonna do our job here. And it takes
Yeah.
Smoker like no, it's chill. Smoker, Smoker telling them to stand down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, once again, Smoker kind of being like at the mercy of the pirates, where he doesn't have the upper hand. Like this is like back in Alabasta, where he got saved by the Strouts. He did them a solid and was like, "Hey, we're gonna let you go this time." Now he's back in a situation where even though he wants to capture Luffy, he's like he's honorable in that way, where he's like I made this promise to you, I'm not going to betray you like that and like take advantage of the situation. He's like, no, like I made a deal with them. So even though like they're pirates and like that's his objective, he's willing to let that go in order to uphold that honor.
Yeah, I love Smoker's character. Like he has such a strong sense of justice, I think.
Yeah.
Which makes him like an admirable character,
Yeah, we know like pretty much any other of the leadership in the Navy would have like made that deal and then like immediately turn around like, all right, now capture them. Let's bring them in.
Yeah. He doesn't do what he's supposed to do. He does what he thinks is right.
Right. Which is how he keeps getting in the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. But he also gets out of situations for being that way as well.
Mm.
If he took a different tone, he might not have made it out of some of those situations.
Yeah.
This one included.
Yeah, Law could have left him in that cage outside.
Totally. Yeah, the trust kind of goes both ways. And Luffy's always respected Smoker and is always excited to see Smoker. And I think that's why. Because Luffy is a good judge of character and Smoker's a good character.
Yeah, and we see another good moment here too, where Smoker tells Tashigi to take care of the men, so that way he can go take matters into his own hands. So that way he can stamp to Virgo. And then Tashigi offers to go with him, and he says, "But then who will protect my men? See those aids to safety along with the brat." So he's like not abandoning G5. He's like, "I need you to guide G5 and like our men, get them to safety. I'm gonna go handle this personal thing because I can't." Again, the justice is important to him. He's like, "This is insulting, and like this is defying the justice and what I stand for. This person is taking like the title of vice admiral and abusing it. He's like, this can't stand. So he's going to go stop this and serve out justice to somebody who deserves it."
Yeah. And he also knows that G5 need a leader. Like, I feel like when they're without Smoker and Tashigi, they're kind of like chickens running around with their heads cut off. And so he trusts Tashigi to be able to command them and hold that down.
Yeah.
He has a lot of faith in her.
Yeah.
I just love the panel of his back walking away with the justice kanji on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so perfect. It's so perfect.
So good.
Yeah. That's a nice point. Nice touch.
I feel like there's like, I think Evan really hit the nail on the head with like they do need a leader, and there's that pragmatic aspect to it, but it also is like Smoker didn't catch on to Virgo, and I'm sure that he's taking a lot of personal responsibility for that too. So this whole thing is literally on his shoulders.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's such a great. I love Smoker. I love this scene.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So he does feel like that responsibility is like these children were abducted because I let this I let this happen under my watch.
Yeah.
Because like Virgo is part of G5.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, I should have been able to pick up on this. So he's like, I got to make up for my mistake.
Not on my watch.
When in reality, Virgo is probably just being careful, or like, why would he suspect something like this to happen?
Sure.
I mean, didn't Virgo
Wouldn't.
say specifically like, "Oh, as soon as Smoker, as soon as you got to G5, I knew I had to cover my tracks."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, with you guys being dead, I can breathe now because nobody's gonna be like, like on my tail anymore.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, this is pretty much where we leave things. So everybody's kind of got their game plan, and things are gonna be set into motion. Everybody is now in the facility. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how that plays out. But do you guys have any final thoughts for the volume as a whole?
I'm hyped. Like again, we're like in this really cool place where there's so many characters at play and so many different alliances and deals and trust being passed around. That like I'm very excited to see how this ends. Who betrays who saves who? Like I'm really excited to see what is to come. And the devil fruit hint, I think, is going to be huge. Whatever that reveal leads to, like, I don't know. We haven't had a lot of talk about devil fruit like in a long time, or ever really. Like, I mean, generally speaking, we haven't gotten a ton of facts on devil fruit. And we're 68 volumes in, so to get some like
Any day now.
Yeah. So I'm just curious to get more info on that.
Yeah,
I just love the thing I'm loving so much about Punk Hazard this time around is just how many times Oda is switching the status quo up and how much he is shuffling around either characters or situations or power balances.
Yeah.
But it feels like things are really about to. He's putting the pieces together. I'm excited to see everything coalesce for this one. And it's also just good.
Yeah.
It's so nice seeing the outside world again. It's so nice seeing what the other supernovas are up to. I just love getting those little teases. Even though I know a fair amount of things, it's still so thrilling just seeing, oh, it's Kid, oh, it's Hawkins, oh my, what are they gonna do? Like it's it never gets old.
Yep.
Yeah, I like legitimately forgot about this part as well. So like it's nice to kind of go back and like see these things again and be like, oh yeah, I completely forgot this happened. So yeah, it's like you kind of mentioned it I think last week as well, where you're like, it's like in some ways it's almost like experiencing it for the first time again, because like these are things that we forgot about. So it's like a nice little surprise when we can like have these whole moments come back up again and be like, I forgot this happened.
Yeah. And like that's why I'm so excited for like this phase and why I think I'm very happy with this read so far, because like again for me this is my first time rereading this section of the story, whereas like other sections have been like 3, 4, 5 times. So now I'm like, let's go. This is the closest I'll ever be to getting something for the first time again. So
yeah, it's fun like also picking up like some of the clues too. Because there's just like in general, like again, like even like little things like with the like the brokers, like being like silhouettes and stuff like that, like what's going on here, like even like little things like that. It's like it's just fun to like see all these pieces. And like with the arc itself, it's been fun to see all these different pieces coming together and like interacting and being moved around. Like we've had like split ups, like people coming back together, splitting up again, like forming different like groups, body switching around, body switching back, people trying to like maneuver other people, and like you don't know who has the upper hand. Like there's a lot of like little twists and turns. It's just really fun to see like these characters making moves, because they all have their own agendas and their objectives, and they're all doing things for their own reasons. So yeah, it's just really fun to see like a clash of people's objectives, and when like things are getting in the way of their own objectives. Like, how are they going to, react to that, or where are they going to do to get the advantage here? So there's just a lot of that going on, and it's just like really fun to see like the scales kind of shifting like back and forth. And yeah, that's really exciting for me to revisit this arc as well.
Hell yeah.
All right, but that will conclude this week's episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. You can find this episode wherever podcasts are found at We're Reading One Piece podcast.buzzsprout.com or on the YouTube channel at We're Reading One Piece. This is a spoiler-free channel up to where we have recorded the podcast, so if you're new to the series, you can visit the channel there. You can also find me and this podcast on my YouTube channel at Pirate King Codex for more One Piece content. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can reach us at werereadingonepiece@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from listeners, so if you're enjoying the show, or if you have any suggestions on how we can make it better, let us know. Next episode, we'll be starting volume 69. Nice. Just kidding. It's volume 69. Sad. I've been Joel. I've been joined by Evan.
Thanks for listening.
And Cody.
Nice.
Nice.
All right. Well, be sure to bring along all the hopes and dreams, and I'll see you on the next episode.